Hello and welcome to NCCI's Insights Video Edition. I'm Sheila Fordson. You've come to the right place to get up to date on the latest NCCI articles and research found on the Insights portal of NCCI.com. Be sure to check the description box under this video, where you'll find links to each article we mention in this episode. Claim frequency is a term you might hear often in workers' compensation. It's the number of claims per basis unit, such as workers, payroll, or premium, and there can be several variations. Industry stakeholders often ask how NCCI measures and monitors changes in frequency over time. Our recent Insights article provides more understanding behind the phrase and shares NCCI's top 3 claim frequency measures.
One frequency measure might be perfect for one application, but not the best choice for another. So I think it's important for people to understand the various uses of these measures. For example, one of those measures is frequency per payroll. And to give you an example of how this would vary by class, for the roofing class, frequency per payroll is more than 5 times the average of all classes. On the other extreme, take the office class, or office and clerical, frequency per payroll is about 1/10 that of all other classes. Given such wide differences in frequency per payroll by class, NCCI cautions that this may not be the best measure to look at year-to-year changes in frequency. And that's because a shift in the class mix from one year to the next can have a big impact on the overall frequency per payroll for all classes. For measuring changes in frequency over time, we turn to one of our other measures, that's frequency per premium. This measure is far less distorted by changes in industry or class mix over time. And the paper goes into some of the technical reasons why that is the case. Anyone that's been involved in the workers' comp industry over the last several years is well aware of the long-term decline in claim frequency, and NCCI continues to monitor this and share our findings.
You could call it a real case of the Mondays. A worker may experience an injury unrelated to their job, but claim it as such and benefit from workers' comp insurance. Some believe these claims are more likely to occur on a Monday because these injuries may be more likely to happen over the weekend. NCCI's recent research brief, Changes in Monday Claims, examines this theory and addresses if the Affordable Care Act influences non-work-related claims paid by workers' compensation.
Well, we did do a number of different slices and dices of the data. We looked by type of injury and by type or part of body that is injured. We did find some interesting differences in distributions of claims by type of injury. For example, lower back injuries are a bigger share of claims on Mondays than they are of other days of the week. We did look at different industries. We didn't find an impact of the ACA in any particular industry. But how claims fall by day of the week by industry is kind of interesting. Not surprisingly, for office workers, there's very few claims on Saturdays and Sundays on the weekend. Whereas for restaurant workers, the biggest shares of claims are on Fridays and Saturdays. Again, not surprising because that's when restaurants are at their busiest. The work comp claim frequency continues to decline, but we don't find any impact of the Affordable Care Act on work comp claim frequency.
When it comes to medical treatment for workers' comp claims, one size doesn't fit all. With different services provided based on injury type and severity, an injured worker could have a combination of healthcare providers and services. And it can be a challenge to predict medical cost trends across differing service groups, like physical therapy, prescription drugs, or inpatient hospital care. Our recent report helps make sense of this challenging mix and some of the associated costs.
One of the key findings, we found that facilities, which is made up of inpatient and outpatient hospital and ambulatory surgical centers, represents a little more than a third of costs for claims of size greater than $10,000. We also found that inpatient hospital is a greater proportion of medical costs for larger claims, and that outpatient hospital and ambulatory surgical costs represent a larger share of costs for smaller claims. In addition, this paper confirms prior results from other studies. For instance, prescription drug costs tend to linger. We found that prescription drugs pay out at the slowest rate of all service categories, regardless of claim size range. Our stakeholders are intensely interested in the composition of medical costs. For that reason, we do plan to update this study in the future.
Thanks for joining us for another Insights video edition. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and follow us on Twitter at NCCI. Find more NCCI articles and research on our Insights portal at ncci.com/insights. We'll see you next time when we discuss the issues at the top of the workers' comp agenda from the source you trust.